Welcome to Sports Leadership Topic 2D Part 7, where we continue talking about shared leadership and looking at the Tennis New Zealand case. What Tennis New Zealand ended up going for, of course, was the Henry and Lee model, where Tennis New Zealand governance was in the centre and surrounded by several branches, 6 in total: Auckland, Waikato and Bays, Central, Canterbury, Southern and Northern. So with those 6 regions, they governed all the tennis clubs in there. So they simplified their model from 25 to 6. They aimed to further centralise functions by shifting the balance of power in favour of greater national influence in the governing and in leadership of the sport. And they really leveraged the strength of regional ownership. And made everybody feel like they were part of the process. Henry and Lee's idea is, with a top-down system, you get this, instead of doing that, you actually have this complex web of interrelationship between all these groups, where they exert power in different ways, in different contexts, and draw on alliances with the other stakeholders. And this complex web that Henry and Lee refer to encompass things like media relationships, alternative competition, and it works really well in a fully professional sporting environment. But the National Board's ability to effect strategic change is absolutely dependent on how well they can persuade those other regions to go along with them, and the other regions equally have influence with each other, so it becomes a collaborative model instead of a power over model, which is just doomed to frustration and failure. It works through negotiation, through trade-offs, with the skills within of the people within the organisation, about mutual adjustment and about flexibility, so that the sport can move with the times instead of being held back. Because Tennis New Zealand itself has acknowledged the power, the skills and the value of all the regions, they're now better able to accept the fact that the regions will not agree with them all the time, and they're all on an equal footing around the table, and that everybody is actually interested in where tennis goes, that it isn't anymore about ego. They are now able to participate, to partner, to co-own, to power share and to collaborate. However, to think about the risks to Tennis New Zealand if the leadership changes, and ask yourself whether this model would work in the business world and why or why not. Okay, Jackson and Parry, a little further on, look at the ideas of co-leadership, of shared transformational leadership, of distributed leadership, of leaderless work groups, which is another name for substitutes for leadership, and of team leadership or leaderless teams. So go and have a look at those so that you understand exactly what they're all about, but they're reasonably small ideas alongside shared leadership. Jackson and Parry also focus on challenges in the academic literature to traditional views of what it means to lead, to follow, and they have a critical perspective reflecting this view that leadership is a process that goes on between all people, and all people can be involved in leadership in spite of their formal position, which is actually quite a nice way of thinking about shared leadership as well.